Hey guys, so I wanted to start off this video by being very upfront and honest with you guys, because as you know, on my channel I'm pretty open, I'm pretty out there, I let you guys know what I'm thinking about. So as you may have noticed, some of you, I decided to monetize my channel. Just to let you guys know, at this point it's not going to make much of a difference on my channel, but the goal is in the future, if it does pick up and it does become something, then hopefully I'll be able to get better equipment. But my biggest thing is at 500 subscribers, I want to start doing giveaways for you guys, which I'm so excited about. And I want my giveaways to be things that will help you with depression, anxiety, things that will be like small little gifts to remind you that you're special and you know that you deserve to take good care of yourself, basically. So my plan was to start at 500 and do it every couple hundred subscribers. Maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I wanted to mention it in case you guys are wondering why I did monetize my videos, because it would help me pay for some of those things in the future. So that was my point I wanted to make, and I want to get right into my topic today. Now today's topic, believe it or not, I actually got it from an episode of Walking Dead. So I'm going to kind of explain where it came from, but I'm not going to do any spoilers or anything because Walking Dead is awesome in my opinion, and I don't want anyone who's behind to be like, oh, you ruined it for me. So I'm going to speak extremely generally about what I mean. So basically I was watching an episode in season 4 and somebody did something very bad, and what they did was pretty much delusional. So what happened is they did this thing, they thought it was fine because they did something delusional, they didn't know, they thought, okay, whatever. And then somebody else, another character, was like, oh my god, you know, and freaked out about it. And then the character that did the delusional act was like, are you mad at me? And that became the huge focus of that point in the episode, and that character is freaking out going, are you mad at me? I don't want you to be mad at me, blah 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 blah. So I hope that didn't ruin anything. I don't think it really could have, but my point is that I find a very common denominator with mental illness is people thinking that there's somebody that is angry at them. It really triggered that. When I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, I do that all the time. So for myself in my own life, I would very often to my boyfriend be like, are you mad at me? You know, like, what did I do wrong? And I would start to feel guilty. I feel like guilt is another common trend between people with mental illness. You guys can relate to any of this, thumbs up, leave a comment down below, because I don't think I'm alone in this one, but it's something that I would kind of like confirmed because it's something that I've dealt with so much, and I kind of forgot about it until I saw that episode, and I was like, oh my goodness, like, that's always been a concern. I've always wanted people to like me, and I knew that if I put myself out on YouTube, there's going to be a big chance there's people that are not going to be a fan of me, but there's also a big chance that people will like me, and those people will keep following me and keep watching my vlogs, so that's cool. But the point is that it is such a strong feeling of guilt, of feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like, you know, if someone's mad at you, it's the end of the world. You just want people to like you, to accept you. It's about acceptance, it's about love, it's about that feeling that you're good enough, which I think a lot of us struggle with, whether it's depression or social anxiety or given certain number of mental illnesses. I think we all want that validation because we try our best to kind of like either ignore the fact that we have a mental illness or cope with it in different ways by kind of covering it up and trying to find other outside things to make us feel good about ourselves. So that's why I think it's so important to open the topic of mental illness and be able to talk so openly about that, you know? I like my vlogs to be a style where I sit down and I just talk to you guys, and hopefully there are people out there that can relate to me about these types of issues, because I feel like, of course, it's a good thing to just talk about mental illness in general and be like, okay, here are the symptoms of depression, this is what it's like to have social anxiety, you know, and you kind of like list down a whole bunch of things. But it's also important to talk about all the small little facets because we all experience things differently. I'm sure for this topic, some people are going to be like, I've never felt that way before, you know, I always felt like I was good enough, or I don't care if people are mad at me, why would I care about that? But I feel like another common thread is a lot of people care way too much about what other people think of them, and guilty is charged. I try so hard not to, but obviously if someone comes and trolls me or insults me or whatever, I'm going to, well, the first reflex is take it to heart, but then I'm able to now, since I cope pretty well, pull myself out of that situation and be like, does that really matter? So sometimes it's like an automatic reflex. I'll ask my boyfriend, like, are you mad at me? And then I'll be like what? What does that matter? It's just such a weird reaction, and I've been trying to understand why I do that. I think it's definitely for some form of validation, even though I find that I am pretty good now at just believing in myself, finding confidence in myself. YouTube has helped a lot with that, just for me to be able to say, you know, I'm very self-aware. I know why I feel the way I feel most of the time. I know why I self-sabotage. I know why I get into depressive states. I understand. I know how to better pull myself out of it. But I do have those moments where it's almost like, give me validation, give me something. And I think that's why when I ask, are you mad, and it feels like the end of the world, that's part of it. I've always felt really bad if I have a falling out with a friend, which hasn't happened too many times, or if I feel like somebody is guarding their feelings. I feel like a lot of people in this world are non-confrontational, so if they have an issue with you, they're not going to bother to go up to you and say something. And I'm proud of myself because, and I'd recommend this to Precious Gems as well, if you think someone's mad at you or has an issue with you, confront it. Maybe don't just go like, are you mad at me? But go up to them and be like, you know, I noticed you've been a bit off. Are you okay? Because I feel like that's another thing that can help break the barrier of social anxiety. If you actually go out of your way to see if other people are doing okay and take that focus off yourself. That's always been my biggest trick when it comes to feeling better about me. There are some times where, you know, I'm not feeling the best about my life. I'm feeling a little bit run down, a little bit negative, I suppose, and we'll be talking about my life with somebody, and I'll actually say at some point, you know what, I'd rather take the focus off me for a little bit. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about your life? And that might sound a little bit strange, but it works. And the person's like, yeah, you know, I'm doing pretty well, and you go from there. Because honestly, sometimes when the spotlight is on me, that's when my anxieties come out, my depression comes out, all those different things. So it's good to kind of take that spotlight off yourself and move it over to someone else, if of course they're comfortable and they don't struggle with social anxiety and depression like I do. So it can be a very helpful tool. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to know if you experienced the whole "are you mad at me" thing, because it's something that's been a very common theme in my life. So let me know if you guys can relate. And just remember that tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing a giant Google Hangout, so anyone is welcome. And the next day I will be interviewing David Weston, so you can tune in for that too. That will be in the afternoon, and all the information is posted on my main channel if you guys want to check it out. Talk to y'all later, my precious gems.